Hey guys, back with another video here. This is, I believe, the fourth video now in the series of, classical guitar warm-up technique kind of stuff. And this one's going to be kind of a mixture of different things. I wasn't sure how I was going to go over these things, since a lot of them are just like short little things that don't really need a lot of explanation, but today we're just going to focus on really the left hand technique, strength, stretching, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go over slurs, we're going to go over chromatic octaves, and we're going to go over, I guess, the little spider activity out of pumping nylon. But let me just get that out here real quick. So if you guys don't know pumping nylon, I highly recommend it. I rarely ever actually get it out anymore because the stuff I practice out of this is just all memorized, but it has a lot of great stuff. A lot of this I haven't even really been through a lot of the activities in this book because you only really need a couple. I mean, they're just so great. I mean, he just did a really good job putting this together. But the slurs we're going to be doing, not the top half here, it's going to be, if you have the book, it's page 51. And it's called triplets, and it's number 6, I guess number 6 slur exercise. He has the kind of exercise here, and then I expanded upon it. Really, my teacher gave me the idea. He has the exercise in first position, so you go through and play it in that, and then you play it in 5th position, the whole thing, and then you play it in 9th position, and that way you touch every fret up to the 12th, because you play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not important to touch every fret of your guitar, but it's just, another way to get more exercise out of this, little thing. Get more out of it, basically. Just more ways to play it. Kind of like the scales, you play. I showed you guys with the chromatic scale. Play with IM and MA and IA and all those different kind of combinations. So basically, if you don't have this, I'll just show you all the different combinations that you want to do. You're going to start off, it's triplets like I said, so you're going to play kind of back and forth between pull off and hammer on. So you start off with your first finger. They're all going to be, first finger on first fret, second, so I'm not going to go through and explain all that. But the first one just uses the first and second finger. So you want to go first finger, play it with thumb, whatever you want to use. And then you want to hammer on with your second finger and then pull off. And then you move over to the A string, and with your second finger down, play that, pull off, and then hammer on. And then, as I'm sure you can see where this is going, play with the first finger on the D string, hammer on, pull off. And you just keep doing that over and over, all the way up here till you get to, and then you just turn around and keep going. It appears my camera is doing some kind of weird flashing. Alright guys, I'm back here now. The camera battery was dying, so I had to stop. And now I'm back. So we went over the first form of the triplets for the slurs, which is 1 and 2 here. And now we're going to go over the next form. Let me see if I can get that on camera maybe. But the next one is for 2 and 3, and it's the same kind of pattern, just now on the 2nd and 3rd fret with the 2nd and 3rd finger. So you want to play it with the 2nd finger, and then hammer on with the 3rd, pull off, then 3, 2, 3, just like that, all the way across and then back. The next one is 3 and 4, so same idea, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. The next one is 2 and 4. So 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. Then 1, 4. that's all the way across and back. Just want to show you guys that in case that wasn't clear. And then the last one is 1-3, all the way across and back. And then you just take that, same idea, and you move up to the 5th fret. Now, if you're just starting out in slurs, I recommend doing at least a few days, if not longer than that, of just the first position. For 2 reasons. One, if you're completely new to slurs, your fingers are going to be like, wow, that's a lot to do right there. It's going to be like a big workout, it's like going to the gym for your fingers. So, for that reason, and also for the memorization, I mean, if you're reading it out of here, I think it'll just make it easier to kind of start memorizing those patterns and not really think about the notes you're playing, and then move it up. And it's not a big deal here, it's more of a big deal with chromatic octaves, which I'll get to in a minute. But, and even if you're, doing slurs, but you're not doing this particular one, even changing the patterns of your slurs, it can affect how your fingers work, and, they'll get tired easier. So, I recommend, start out just doing the first position, then do the 5th position, which is all the same stuff, all the same patterns, the 1-2, the 2-3, 3-4, 2-4, 1-4, 1-3, and then once you, build up the first position, and then you add on the 5th, and, you feel okay doing that, then go to the 9th position. And, if you want to go beyond that, you can do that. I mean, that's what I do, but you could also do, like, all the odd positions, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, instead of just 1, 5, 9, Or you could do any of the other slur exercises out of this book, but I think this is the best one. I tried the other ones in this book. I've tried ones out of the book that my teacher and other people have showed me, but I think this is just by far the best. If you're going to do any one slur exercise, I think it just has to be this one, because it's just fantastic. I mean, some of the other ones in here, they call us ascending slurs and descending slurs. In this book, some people call it hammer on, pull off. Maybe that's a rock and roll thing that I've kept all these years since I've played that. But, if you're doing these, you're just doing, this is just for the hammer on, ascending slur, whatever you want to call it. And this is just for the pull off, descending slur, whatever you want to call it. Whereas this combines them, and you're playing on all the strings, you're playing, all up and down the neck. What else do you really need in a slur exercise? I mean, really. And then one other thing I do, like you've seen me do in a lot of my activities, warm-up things, I try to do multi-purpose practicing, I guess is the best way for me to describe it. But as I'm doing slurs, on these strings I play with thumb, and on these 3 I play IMA. And for the first position ones, I do all free stroke. When I go to 5th position, I do thumb, rest stroke, and free stroke with the IMA. Once I go to the 9th position, I do free stroke, thumb, and rest stroke, IMA. So, just something else to think about. I mean, if you get that comfortable with your slurs where you're like, okay, well, what can I do with my right hand now to, also work on something with that, because pretty much every activity you do, it is using both hands, but how actively are you using both hands? Slurs obviously is focusing on left hand, but, why don't you do something productive with your right hand too? That's just me. I like doing that kind of stuff. So, anyway, now let's check out Chromatic Octaves. I don't think they have it in this book, which is really surprising, but I'm pretty sure when my teacher actually taught me this, he was looking for it in this book, but couldn't find it anywhere. So, I'll just go over it. I mean, there's probably a million videos on YouTube and a million internet web pages, whatever, websites that show you how to do it, but it's just like it sounds, chromatic octaves. It's just like a chromatic scale, but in octaves. So you want to play the open low E, and then the E on the D string. And then also remember, check out the fingerings up here too, because that's important, especially when you're building speed and that kind of stuff. So you want to play that, and then 1 and 3 for the F, 2 and 4 for the F sharp, 3 and open for the G, 4 and 1 for the G sharp, open and 2 for the A, 1 and 3 for the B flat, 2 and open for the B, 3 and 1 for C, 4 and 2 for C sharp, open and 3 for D, 1 and 4 for D sharp, 2 and open for E, 3 and 1 for F, 2 and 4 for F, 4 and 2 for F sharp, open and 3 for G, 1 and 4 for G sharp. And then you just do that whole thing backwards, which I'm not going to waste your time going through that since my last video was like almost a half hour long. So you just do that and then you go backwards with all the same fingerings, and always remember to hit this B open. Don't hit it with the 4th finger here. And other than that, I mean, it's pretty, basic idea, just play those, do it really slow. If you're new to this, it's gonna, might hurt your brain trying to think about all that stuff. Just make sure you get, go so slow that you can make sure you're getting all the fingerings right, as well as the notes. And after a long time of doing that, and you have it completely memorized, and you're not even thinking about when you're doing it, then what I like to do is play in 3rd position, 5th position, 7th position, and 9th position, as well as 1st position. But I actually do it backwards. I start at the 9th position and then go down. I do this for a couple reasons. One is the action, which is, you can look on any guitar. The action is different. See how big of a gap is between the strings up here and the fretboard compared to the strings and fretboard here. So when you start here, it's harder to push them down, which is kind of a big deal when you're doing an exercise that's meant to work out your left hand, and then you're also doing it on a spot where it's higher action. So I start out at the harder spot, and it's also a little more crunched in, and then as I move down it gets more spread out, so it's kind of slowly stretches rather than starting out in the most stretched position with the easiest action and then moving up to where you get less stretch but harder to push down. As you're getting, your fingers are getting more tired and moving up to the spots where it would be harder to push down. So I think it makes more sense to start here where it's harder to push down here and less of a stretch, and then it gets easier to push down and a little bit more of a stretch. That's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. But definitely you need to have this beyond memorized before you can even try to start moving it around. Because if you're thinking about the notes at all, you are not ready to move to another position, because once you get to 9th position or any position other than 1st position, it's not really chromatic octaves anymore. It's just kind of that pattern, because you're playing an E on this string, but this is not an E here. This is a C. So you can't think about the notes because you're just going to lose your mind. You just have to think about the fingerings. So and then the last thing, I don't even know if I have this marked off, so I might have to take a second look for it, but the spider activity. This is just something I recently decided to do. I saw it in here and I thought it was pretty cool, so I just figured while I'm doing this video, what better time to do it than now, because it is a left-hand thing. Here we go. It is page 22 of Pumping Nylon. It has this picture with the big guy right there playing guitar, but what we're looking at is up here. It's a pretty simple exercise. According to the author, it says when you play it smoothly, your hand's supposed to look like a spider, but I don't really see that. I don't know where he's getting that. So it's basically meant for kind of multiple things. Here it seems like he focuses it on being very smooth and more of an exercise on keeping things legato and that kind of thing. But I think it also is a stretching and strengthening kind of exercise as well. So basically just 3-1 on the C's there, and then 4-2, kind of like the Chromatic Octaves thing where you go in C to C sharp on both the other octaves, and then you go 1-3 where you have B flat here and a D here, and then you do 2-4, B and D sharp, and then you go back to the 1-3 with the B flat and the D, and then C sharp, C, and C, C. And then you just slide it up to the next position, do that. You know, keep going over and over. I mean, and here he just has it done 3 times and then says continue. But I just continue all the way up until my pinky is at the 12th fret. And yeah, I mean, I don't really do much crazy stuff with this. The only thing I really do that isn't mentioned in the book, he doesn't really say what right hand stuff is supposed to be going on. So for a while I was just doing like M, I, and it's a set of 7 things per measure. He has it here. He puts it in 7, 8, but you can organize it however you want. But you know, you have the 1, 3, the 2, 4, the 1, 3, the 2, 4, the 1, 3, the 2, 4, the 1, 3, and then new measure. So I was doing like M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, you know, that kind of thing back and forth, where each pattern started with, you know, first one would start with M, the next time you shifted the second position, it would start with I. And my camera's blinking again, so hopefully it doesn't die. I'm almost done. But then what I started doing was doing I, M, A, C, A, M, I. And then the next measure I would have to repeat I again to start with. And that's really all I do with that. And just so I don't have dead battery, I'm going to end it here because that's really all I have to talk about. Next time we go over tremolo and then chords after that, and that pretty much wraps it up. Anyway, if you like this, hit the like button, subscribe to see more of the lesson things I'm going to be doing, and thanks for watching.